Good day and welcome to this day 25 recap in the Karen Reed trial. And what a day. Um, as you can see in my headline, I believe this was a good day for the Commonwealth. But it didn't start out that well because we were sitting, getting ready, boom, the feed was cut. Then we found out they were having a sidebar because some juror might have talked to a witness on the waterfall bar the day before, and she was called in. A lot of witnesses was called in to discuss it, and because this witness wasn't announced to the camera people, they got her on camera, so we lost the camera feed, had to go through a Zoom feed, which was not that great. Audio wasn't good, and the first witness was a very important lady for the Commonwealth. She was their tech visit, the one who could say that the 227 Hos Long to Die in the cold didn't happen. And to be honest, I think it was good for the Commonwealth because she talked a whole lot. And she was really fond of talking about the reports she's made and how smart she is. But it was also really hard to understand the science behind whatever she was doing. So I think a lot of people would see her and say, well, she's an authority figure, and she said that search didn't happen. So that must be true. It was a lot about how Safari browsers work and how if you have one tab open and you open another tab and you can open 99 tabs. And it was very confusing. I had programmers in my chat saying her testimony made absolutely no sense if you knew the science behind it. But I don't know the science behind it. And the jury probably don't know the science behind it. So a good thing for the Commonwealth is always when you get razzle dazzled by someone with their credentials and all the studies they've done and all the work they've done, and they say this couldn't have happened. But another thing, because I went back, looked at it, she wasn't given the full digital print of the phone. She was only given certain parts and asked to search for certain things. And already there, I'm going, why don't you want her to look at everything? And her report didn't line up with Celebrite. Celebrite is still the gold standard. We know the Commonwealth will bring in a guy talking about Celebrite. Celebrite has the 227 search as deleted, which this tech wizard said it shouldn't show up as deleted when it just was the tab open, closed, used before, used again. And I think if the Celebrite guy isn't better at explaining what happens, uh, the jury will probably think they're right because they don't know what they're saying. It was really hard to understand what the tech was. But again, people who know what stuff was in my chat said it doesn't make sense what she's saying. And we know the defense will bring in people to testify against this. They asked her only a few questions about could it have happened. And she said, I can't say it didn't happen. I can't say there weren't a search at 227 saying Hos Long to Die in the cold, but I will find it highly unlikely given the data I've been shown. And that little preference, prefix, the data she's been shown, could mean a whole lot because if the defense have the full digital picture and their expert needs to be a really good expert. If any of you watched the AHJD trial, one of the biggest problems for and we have to use those names on YouTube, they still block it for you. Her experts were really bad at explaining simple facts. If the Commonwealth can get someone in who can make demonstratives and show you really easily how stuff works. I think they can win this back, but we call balls and strikes. This was a good day for the Commonwealth, in my opinion. The next guy who came in was the Super Trooper who did the crash reenactment. Remember, the state believes that the 3 experts the FBI used, who are all biomechanical engineers who works with crashes every day, need a idea because you can't believe they know anything about car crashes, even though they work for a company that primarily do car crash investigations for insurance companies. You can't believe them. But this guy, he took 3 weeks of testing. 3 weeks. So you can't believe him 100%. And he showed us an incident report, which is because all of the telemetrics he believed they would show something didn't show anything. And then you had the what's called Toyota Tech, and it's kind of like the black box of the car, shows you how much the throttle is being used. Is it going forward? Is it going in reverse? How fast is it traveling? And he showed us some slides, and there was some inconsistencies. I can't wait for Monday for him to explain why things doesn't add up. It was a lot about key cycles. That's whenever the car's turned on until it's turned off again. That's a key cycle. Within that key cycle, you can read the car is doing this and this. But he said, this is where we started testing. And right before there is 2 key cycles that we're looking at. And yes, one of them hit 24.2 miles in reverse for half a second. That's when he claims that's consistent with hitting a body, because she went from a 9-degree left turn to a 9-degree right turn and then back to a left turn. That's when she hit the body, according to his testimony. But where are all the key cycles that should be between she hit him until they started testing the car? Because you need at least the one in the morning when she goes out looking for him. Then she drives to Jen McCabe's house and takes the car back home. I don't know if she had the car running at Jen McCabe's house or she turned it off. There could be one more key cycle. Then you have when she took the car from her house and drove it to her parents' house. That's at least 2 key cycles. At her parents' house, that car was loaded onto a tow truck. That's another key cycle. Then it's driven into the Sally Port at the Canton Police Department. There should be 4 key cycles. He might say on direct that he counted those within the ones he claimed was from when he started testing the car. But in my head math, there's at least 4 key cycles missing. And what did the evidence show that he showed us? They showed us she did a 3-point turn at some point, which could be when she drove past Fairview. She went on a by street, and then she went back and up that street. That could be that 3-point turn, because it's consistent with a 3-point turn. If you see that's a keystroke cycle, a key cycle, and then you have the key cycle where that car accelerates from 0 to 24.2 miles per hour in 4 seconds. But the last half seconds, it doubles its speed. So I would be very interested in, is this a axle measurement or is it a GPS measurement? Because if it's an axle, that will say it measures the speed on the axle when that turns. So if she's skidding in snow, that'll show her going faster than the actual surface speed was. And another problem I would probably bring up is we all know that they claim Brian Higgins' car was at the mailbox. We know from when she hit 24.2 miles per hour, where they claim she hit John O'Keefe, the next 1.5 seconds, she travels, I believe it's 35 feet. I can't even remember it now. 35 feet in reverse, and we don't see when she brakes. If she travels that distance, would she have hit his car? I did a lot of ChatGPT calculations yesterday. I'll just leave you with this. I don't know ChatGPT. It's smaller than I am. If I pushed in 217-pound body sideswiped by a 7,000-pound car at 24.2 miles per hour, ChatGPT, who is smarter than me, says there would have been internal injuries. This guy claimed he got hit, turned around, hit his head on the curb, and ended up on the lawn. Which, again, it makes absolutely no sense. If try imagine that he's standing up, he's claimed hit center mass. That's your torso. He's hit center mass, side swipe center mass. Then he spins around because he has that injury to his eye. Then he falls down, hits the back of his head on the curb, loses his shoe. Some of the tail lights land right next to it, and then he does a magic backflip bump and ends up 5-8 feet off the road on the lawn. But again, did it come across so the jury understood it? No, I don't think so. They saw that 24.2 miles per hour. Maybe remember that Lally said that, and he said it's consistent with a person being hit. So overall, when you start digging at all the data points and you have someone who has knowledge about this, you can probably pick this chicken carcass really, really thin on the meat. But I believe day 25 was a day for the state. They had a good day. I think that worked with the jury. I can't wait till we hear Cross on Monday, because that crash expert with his 120 hours of course, I think he will be devoured by Alan Jackson. And I don't understand, Lally, dear Lally, why do you give them so much time to dissect your expert witness testimony and prepare to hit him over the head? There was a voir dire in the end because he claims that she couldn't have broken the tail light on his car, but she might have been able to do that. That's nothing he put in any reports before. That's just something that he said at a meeting with Lally 2 weeks ago. So I don't know if he's going to be able to testify. Bev, as always, didn't make a ruling. So it's going to be interesting if he can make any determination. She'll probably allow it. That the impact with John's car couldn't have caused the cracked tail light. But as always, it wasn't that interesting. It was really boring because it was a lot of tech talk. But this day is my second day I will give to the Commonwealth out of the 24 days we've been going so far.